opponent because of a questionable call.
Cantu in command. Ruben all in. His tournament life at stake. Here's the flop. Deuce 10-7. Cantu still leads.
That's right. Your daughter married him. Your daughter married him.
Oh, Brandon Cantu supporters trying to prop him up right now. He's in good shape.
He doesn't look like he's in good shape, but he is in command of this hand.
Ruben needs help right away.
That's right. Your daughter could have waited for a doctor. Oh, that's right. He is a doctor.
Ruben turns a nut flush draw.
Come on, one more spade now.
A lot more outs now for Ruben and the Rubenettes.
Well, drew Ruben down to his last card. Brandon Cantu in control, a 3-1 favorite.
Both players seem uneasy.
Come on, put it down there. Hold on, let me breathe. Hold on one second.
Ruben's going to need an ace or a spade or he is done.
River card now.
Put it down.
It's a jack.
Yes.
Cantu wins the hand and knocks off Drew Ruben. But a well-deserved round of applause for the amateur poker playing Dr. Drew Ruben. He wins almost $227,000. Cantu gets that much stronger.
He's just buying his wife a car. He doesn't have to buy them a car too, does he?
I'm not sure about that, but I don't think he'll have much trouble getting out of the house for poker night anytime soon. And Cantu's posse going nuts. Two World Series of Poker rookies fighting for the title. Mark Lee and Brandon Cantu going for the cash and the first of 41 bracelets at this year's World Series.
I will be really, really disappointed if I don't win. Being chip leader coming into the final table.
I think my chance is good. I can be patient and wait for hands. After that, be aggressive.
You really meant that?
I'm confident in my skills.
Such a bad play.
Now I gotta go for the win.
I want a call. I'm begging you for a call.
The goal is to win the tournament. That's it.
I really don't have like a set strategy. I just kind of like feel the moment. I kind of go with my gut instinct.
All in.
The bracelet is good, but the money's better.
We continue this World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. The spoils of victory have been brought out. The cash and the World Series gold bracelet going to our winner. Heads up between Brandon Cantu, the 25-year-old retired skycap full-time couch slouch, and Mark Lee, 31 years old, a nose-to-the-grindstone kind of guy, both on the verge of a World Series title. Right now, Brandon has a chip advantage.
Earlier in this tournament, Cantu busted Greg Raymer, called it the highlight of his poker career. He says he made a horrible call that hit runner flush to send Raymer home.
Cantu with ace-4 offsuit will make a raise to $140,000. Mark Lee with a king-3, and pretty much any high card in your hand is playable heads up, and he will make the call. Cantu with the advantage with that ace to the flop. 3-7-9. Lee pairs his 3, and he grabs the advantage.
And any pair on the flop in heads up is usually good news, but Lee does check.
Cantu checks behind him. And we go to the turn card. A 10, not what Cantu's looking for. Lee remains in the lead.
Two possible flush draws out there and a straight draw.
Lee checks again, as does Brandon Cantu. River card, a 7, and that misses Cantu. Lee gets the check mark.
Lee with 7s and 3s, two pair.
Reaching for chips finally. He's going to make it $200,000.
That's a relatively small bet.
I think I got the best hand.
I think Mark Lee has the best hand.
I think I've got the best hand. I call.
Oh, and Brandon's going to hate that.
Well, Brandon thought his ace high was good, obviously.
And Mark Lee will take the hand. Brandon says he's never read a book. Maybe he should start because he misread Mark Lee that time. And if he continues that pattern, his opponent will soon be wearing the gold bracelet. Welcome back to the Rio and this $1,500 no-limit hold'em final table down to 2. And you see Mark Lee has actually taken the slimmest of leads over Brandon Cantu. Brandon's been the chip leader most of the day. On the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam, he's got ace-king.
140.
And he's going to raise it up to a total of $140,000.
Mark Lee plays closer to the vest than Brandon. The question is, will he be able to loosen up and beat Brandon at his own game?
Suited Jack 4. And he'll make the call. Brandon with the advantage going to the flop. Jack, ace, 6, a big flop for both. Cantu pairs his ace. Lee has jack.
Cantu in the driver's seat with top pair, top kicker. Lee's going to check.
200.
Cantu will not check. 200,000 with his pair of aces. Now on Mark Lee. That middle pair. And he will make the call.
Well, Lee is hoping to catch Cantu over aggressive in the wrong spot. This would not be that spot.
Turn is a 7. Cantu tightening his grip on this hand. Again, Lee checks. Seems to worry Brandon.
Worry schmurry. This Cantu is 1 kg slacker.
450.
Just figuring out how much he wanted to bet. 450,000.
And he was figuring that out each time he has upped the ante with each bet on each street.
Now big decision for Mark Lee.
Lee's got to decide how much he wants to invest in his pair of jacks.
I'm all in.
Everything. Wow.
Almost everything. He has Brandon Cantu barely covered.
I call.
Oh, Brandon's going to call. And Brandon shows the aces in the lead.
Oh, come on.
A rare misstep for Mark Lee, and Brandon Cantu now inching closer to the bracelet.
It's up to the poker god now.
He's going to need some help from the poker gods to pull this one out of the fire.
Yeah, Lee needs a jack or a 4, and he would win this title. If he doesn't get the jack or a 4, Brandon Cantu will have just about every chip on this table.
So now the river card. A queen. And Brandon wins the hand. His posse thinks he's won the tournament.
Jason, if Brandon is swallowed up by the crowd, I believe Mark Lee will be declared the winner.
It's all over with.
Well, technically it's not over with. Brandon did double up and take almost all of Lee's chips, though.
Brandon says he plays poker because he's not good at anything else. He's pretty darn good at poker.
Just push it. You ain't got to stack it.
Indeed, most of the chips go to Brandon Cantu. And Mark Lee is now left with just those 2 chips.
How many times I got to double to get there?
If he doubles 8 times, he will take the chip lead. But frankly, I don't like his chances.
8 times, that's all. Not bad. So the cards are already face up. Cantu leading with his queen 5 against the 10 deuce. Here we go to the flop. Ace 4, 5. Brandon gets the only pair, and he's that much closer to winning.
Mark Lee does pick up a wheel draw, a gut shot wheel draw.
Turn card is a queen. 2 pair for Brandon. Now queen's up.
Mark Lee's going to need a 3 for his straight, or Brandon Cantu's our champion.
Now the river card. It's an 8, and that will end it. Brandon Cantu is a World Series of Poker champion.
Wow, the lazy guy overachieved.
And how about Mark Lee? Came oh so close, but finishes in 2nd place. And Brandon Cantu wins the first bracelet event of 2006. It was a day of fireworks.
You call, you go home.
A flurry of all-ins.
I'm all in.
And verbal confrontations.
Got a big hand.
Don't be afraid to play it.
How could you put me in with King Jack?
But Brandon got himself off the couch and finds himself in the catbird seat here at the World Series of Poker.
How did you make it through 2,700 players to win?
Sucked out a lot of times.
Well, you usually wake up at 5 or 6 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Any change now?
Might go to 6 or 7.
1 World Series bracelet awarded, many more to come. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Thanks for watching the World Series of Poker.
That's it.